Welcome back to our day number 8 of the first 12 days preparation, renouncing the spirit of the world. And my name is Brother Julian Mary from the community Knights of the Holy Eucharist. From our manual for consecration, today's reading deals generally with temptation and will continue the following 9th day. There is really such a thing called temptation, and everyone can never free from them, even the holiest saint, even God Himself during His life on earth. All temptation do not always come from the devil alone. Other temptations come from the world and the flesh. To launch a good fight against the spirit of the world, it is necessary to aim 3 major targets, namely the world, the flesh, and the devil. If we are successful to destroy their fortresses, it would be easier for us to prevent ourselves from their attacks. Of the 3, the most difficult to fight is the flesh, our very own self. The reason is simple, because it is hiding deep within. We carried it within ourselves, and it has 3 dangerous warheads that will surprise us anytime. These are the concupiscence of the flesh, the concupiscence of the eyes, and the pride of life. And of the 3, the most dangerous is pride. Pride is the main source of all evils, the greatest obstacle to grace and repentance, the source of endless self-deception, vanity, and madness. It is the door that leads to anger, violence, and war. St. Augustine called pride as the reservoir of all sins, the head and cause of all sins. Now, temptation can be won either by fighting or by fleeing, for man's life on earth is a constant spiritual battle. There will be occasions that a person is called upon by means of an attack. Other times, he must yield, not because of cowardice, but it is necessary, as in the case of lust and impurities. Also, we need to understand that temptation by itself is not a sin, for sin is an offense against God, a willful violation of God's law. Temptation can be used for our own good, for it can help us provide an opportunity to practice virtue. A good example of this is the life of Job, who was tempted by the devil. However, he never gave up. Even he was ridiculed, and all things seems to be lost. At the end of all the temptation in his life, he became more humble, trustful, and his faith was fortified. And God blessed him superabundantly, more than what he had before. While our first parent succumbed to the temptation of the devil in the garden, our Lord victoriously won over temptation in the desert. Again, no one in this life can free himself from temptation. Saints passed through all kinds of temptation, and they were all purified by them. So also with us. We are purified and fortified by temptations. In all situations, conquering temptation by renouncing the spirit of the world and practicing virtues make us stronger, and all our enemies becomes useless. He who succumbs and decides to give up, he will profit a little, and at the same time making himself vulnerable to the attacks of the enemies. So a reminder, start practicing the basics of spiritual battle by renouncing the spirit of the world. And if you perceive you run out of strength and you are in confusion during this fierce battle, do not do it by yourself alone. It is a sign of pride and will lead you to ruin. Be open, gather more strength, take and follow the good counsel, acknowledge your defects and weaknesses. You need someone. You need Our Lady. You need God. That is humility, and it pleases God. It gives victory.